A quick and easy heist might be the ultimate dream come true for small-time thieves, but some not-so-bright of the bunch have a knack for picking the wrong targets and paying for their misadventure with their dignity or safety.
What the hell are you doing? Get off my goddamn cigarettes! Right, that's it. I'm locking those doors.
Let's take a look at amateur thieves who take botched heists to a whole new level. Number 1. Homeowner gets even with home invaders. This is a home on 117 PLSE in Auburn, Washington, and these men might say they're the police, but they're obviously no cops. But you couldn't guess it by the brazen and loud attempts they were making to break the door down, even yelling at Seattle police. They had decided that nobody was going to sleep in that neighborhood on that night, and they proceeded by kicking the door into submission. It was pretty clear by their costumes that these weren't cops on a mission, but these were common criminals on a different mission. Home invasion. Not one, not two, but 3 men were willing to put their lives on the line to get in through that door, with each of them taking turns to try their luck and their shoulders. When one doesn't burst the door open, it's up to culprit number 2, and when that fails, it's culprit number 3's turn to try his brawn. These guys might have had numbers and their might on their side, but the homeowner has a trusty and lethal friend on his, a handpiece. And he let these guys know he wasn't shy of using it. Their next run at the door was met with a volley of fire from inside the house. But this guy seemed oblivious to clear and present danger, and his adrenaline kicked in even as the glass panel shattered near his idiot head. As the splinters found their way to his face, he realized that the game was up and all 3 stooges ran off into the night. Number 2. Crime of opportunity. The McAlabesima area of Jefferson County, Alabama, might have some pretty impressively unsavory characters like this opportunistic thief who was willing to try his luck in daylight. But it also has some pretty cool residents like Shelby Tucker here, who proved he was the king of his domain by greeting the thief with a handpiece pointed at his face. That put the brakes on this guy's suspiciously unsteady progress, who seemed to be a junkie trying his luck. Those 3 seconds of success at his attempted break-in must have been the best thing to have happened to him in that entire month, but his luck ran out even as his moment of glory began. The handpiece he was greeted by must have lifted the euphoric haze and given him enough clarity to not try any more funny business. Of course, the owner was too wise to try any funny business either and let him go, because he knew the culprit wasn't getting away from the cops. Number 3. Car thieves get justice. It was a fine morning to do a little bit of carjacking in Monroe, Michigan, but these guys soon realized they had picked on the wrong dude. A car wash should be a safe place for everyone, customers, owners, and car thieves. But as these thieves in State Park Car Wash in Frenchtown Township, Monroe found out sometimes the victim is a bigger bully than the ones with a handpiece, as car thief/victim number 1 waved his piece in the face of the driver of this car. He didn't know he had bitten off more than he could chew. Being handpiece whipped by a guy with an agenda would have forced a weaker man to buckle under that pressure. But this 35-year-old driver refused to hand over the keys to his car. Instead, he was willing to take one thief on a joyride, except with him hanging outside his car for dear life. There was only one way this debacle was ending, with these 2 bozos behind bars. Number 4. Carjackers meet karma. Since we're on the topic of car thieves, here's another fine specimen of mankind trying to jack someone's vehicle, but things are done differently in Cape Town, South Africa. The carjackers here operate in style. These guys must have thought they'd hit the jackpot as they followed this driver into a parking lot. Easy peasy, right? As they found out, completely wrong. Not only was this driver not scared of handpieces, but he had the audacity to flip the situation and become the bad guy. This lesson in instant karma must have stayed with these clowns for a long time, as the drivers banged up their car pretty badly as he skipped the scene, leaving the jackers in his dust. Number 5. Another carjacking. Carjackings are all the rage nowadays. Look at this candidate for the list of dopiest carjackers in town. June 3rd, 2015, should have been a good day for this thief on the prowl.
Thank you, officer.
Good job, man.
I appreciate it.
It's 23.
The scene of the crime was a local family dollar store, and the main characters were a thief picked and the wrong guy he had picked to rob. The moment could have been plucked from a western as the tables were turned on the thief. As soon as his target realized he was to play a victim in this comedy drama, he refused to follow the script and firmly instructed him to lie down on the ground and move his arms behind his back. The thief's reaction included panic as he quickly realized what a grave error he had made. The victim ordered him to stay put and wait for the police. The rest is history, which played out its final chapter in jail. Number 6. A standoff in South Africa. May 19th, 2018. Location: a popular venue known for its unique blend of coffee, cocktails, and crime. That's what visitors at the news cafe in South Africa witnessed when a criminal gang, in a brazen heist, was brought to a stop right outside the venue. This gang had just targeted a cash-in-transit van before making a quick escape. As plumes of colored smoke went off, shrouding the area in a haze of tension and pandemonium, one brave South African man quickly alerted the police, setting the stage for a dramatic standoff. Guess not all heroes wear capes in Cape Town. Starting to realize the pickle they were in, the amateur thieves tried to flee the scene, with one robber ditching his buddies to make a desperate escape attempt in a black car. But the police responded with remarkable speed and precision, intercepting the vehicle and forcing the thief to the ground, swiftly apprehending him. The crowd of onlookers, who probably just wanted a peaceful afternoon, was given front-row seats to a real-life action movie. The swift police action not only foiled the gang's plans, but also showed the power of the community and vigilant citizens. So next time you're sipping your latte, remember, life can go from 0 to 60 in a heartbeat. Number 7. Jewelry heist goes wrong in Birmingham. Shoppers at a market on Ladypool Road in Birmingham weren't expecting a car to crash into a jewelry store before they'd even purchased their first bag of apples. But that's exactly what happened on March 4th, 2022. As soon as the white Toyota Hilux rammed into the shop, destroying its front facade, a group of masked men armed with axes began threatening onlookers back into the shops by yelling, but if that didn't convince them, I'm sure the sharp tools did. Luckily, the onlookers were quick on their feet, and the cameraman immediately recorded the number plates of the vehicles belonging to the masked thugs. At the end of the day, they managed to steal jewelry worth nearly £300,000. But thanks to the efforts of the onlookers, especially the brave soul who risked their safety to record it all, 5 men were arrested. John Gourlay, Trevor Leake, Justin Boylan, Arfan Latif, and Hassan Zulfikar. A round of applause for the geniuses who tried to rob a shop in bright daylight and thought they could get away with it. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, although the ramming car sent glass cabinets flying and only missed the business owner's head by a matter of inches. Number 8. Amateur thieves in South Africa messed with the wrong people. Who said dramatic action scenes are reserved for Hollywood blockbusters? On the morning of November 8, 2019, South Africa witnessed a long and dramatic cash-in-transit robbery that looked like it came straight out of Ocean's 11. At around 7 a.m., a G4S armored cash truck was transporting money from Mathatha to load ATMs in Lusikisiki and Port St. John's. But as the truck passed through Libode, a black Toyota double cab, Bakkie sped past it and abruptly swerved in front, attempting to force the cash truck to stop. But the robbers weren't the brightest, because their smaller bakkie was no match for the reinforced G4S, and the attempt left the bakkie stalled next to its target. The tables were turned when the G4S van started to retaliate, ramming into the robber's car repeatedly. One of the suspects had ended up trapped inside the cash truck during the botched heist. These robbers thought themselves pretty suave, but one mistake after another made this one of the most amateur heists caught on tape. Number 9. Senior citizen's arrest. Now, this ne'er-do-well might be forgiven for a serious miscalculation. He had thought that just because one gets old, one goes senile as well. Thinking that this senior store owner was too old to chase after a dastardly thief in his prime, he swiped cigarettes of all things, brazenly from the counter.
What the hell are you doing? Get up, Mike!
No amount of swearing stopped Dopey, and the store owner decided to punish this dude for misjudging a book by its cover.
Please. Hey, gum!
The guy must have rued the moment he had decided to try his luck at the store, but as he found out to his dismay, you might come in of your own decision, but you only leave with Grandpa's permission. Number 10. Johannesburg handbag thief gets it. In Johannesburg, South Africa, gangs of thieves rule the streets with no fear as they commit burglary and phone snatchings in broad daylight. But one robber learned his lesson the hard way. After breaking the passenger seat window of a car stuck in traffic, the brazen robber snatched a handbag and made a run for it, confident he was going to get away with it.
On the front seat is the driver's bag.
But not on the watch of one brave van driver. Having witnessed the crime unfold, the driver immediately got out of his vehicle and took matters into his own hands. Aiming a handpiece at the fleeing criminal, 2 calculated and precise bangs rang out. Startled by the fire, the thief dropped the stolen bag and fled like a headless chicken, leaving behind the loot. These criminals always turn into cowards when the tables turn. The brave vigilante retrieved the handbag, intending to return it to its rightful owner. But by that point, the owner had already left, possibly unaware of the unfolding chaos and maybe a little traumatized by the robbery. Number 11. The perfect crime? As far as heists go, this one in South Africa was almost perfect. Footage shows a group of ordinary citizens standing by the road with a white cash-in-transit van parked nearby. Viewers would be forgiven for wondering what's so special about this video, but keep watching, because as soon as the van door opens, 2 armed robbers from within the group immediately pounce on the van. As bystanders looked on in disbelief, the robbers overpowered a man to gain access to the money held within the van, making off with a substantial haul before fleeing the scene. A foolproof plan that played on excellent acting skills and the element of surprise, but the idiots didn't prepare for the CCTV camera recording their faces. Though the plan unravels due to an idiotic mistake, it also shows that the devil works hard, but thieves work harder. And next time you find yourself with a group of seemingly ordinary people, don't let your guard down. Number 12. Quick reflexes. Save a lady. It's easy to say what we do when faced with a dangerous situation, but few of us have the quick reflexes necessary to keep us safe. But not this quick-thinking lady. On March 14th, 2022, in Durban, South Africa, surveillance cameras caught this moment when a woman on the sidewalk was intercepted by a group of 3 men. The men closed in on the unsuspecting target, possibly attempting to steal her valuables or worse. Fortunately, the woman was quick on her feet and made a quick escape, prompting the criminals to give up and walk off empty-handed. Unfortunately, incidents like this are common in cities like Durban and Cape Town, where organized crime is rife. But if you were in this woman's place, what would you do? Number 13. Trucker to the rescue. They say you should pick on someone your own size, and this would-be amateur hijacker learned his lesson the hard way. On March 12, 2022, a man was seen approaching the car of an unsuspecting woman at a gas station as she was filling up her tank. The thief boldly opened the car door and attempted to drive the vehicle. The woman was too stunned to move, but then she immediately jumped into action and tried to stop the criminal. But he drove off with her in the car, presumably attempting to steal it. And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for one meddling truck driver. Clad in a distinctive zinc jacket like a superhero, this man noticed the crime and quickly approached the car, forcing the door open and confronting the startled thief. The trucker managed to restrain the hijacker, giving the woman a chance to escape to safety. Realizing his plan had failed, the hijacker broke free and fled the scene on foot, with his tail between his legs, trying to act like he didn't just get his butt kicked. Number 14. Store owner. Takes matters into his own hands. When crime becomes rampant, sometimes people need to take matters into their own hands. That's what this devious store owner did after becoming tired of break-ins and robberies. With a bit of ingenuity and planning, the thief turned into the store owner's prey the second he entered the labyrinth of dead-end hallways and locked doors. The setup included a CCTV system with an alarm that alerted the owner as soon as the trap was triggered. CCTV footage captured the moment the thief realized he'd messed with the wrong person as he triggered the entry-only mechanism and got locked in a dark corridor with no way out. After kicking desperately on a white door, panic began to set in. He'd walked right into the store owner's trap and possibly feared he'd be stuck in the dark corridor without food, water, or fresh air until someone discovered him. Thankfully for him, the police arrived at the scene within minutes, responding quickly to the store owner's alert. You can see the relief on the thief's face as he sees the cops open the door. I'm sure they weren't expecting that reaction. Number 15. Jewelry thieves mess with the wrong man. Bad people make stupid decisions. Name a better combo. This couple thought they were the next Bonnie and Clyde, but this jewelry shop owner put a pin in their inflated dreams. The incident, which unfolded in broad daylight, was captured on security cameras and has since gained significant attention online. The footage shows a well-dressed couple conversing with the store owner under the guise of making a purchase. While Clyde distracted the owner, Bonnie over here tried to conceal an expensive necklace inside a gift box. Miraculously, the plan went off without a hitch, or so they had thought. The store owner had ingeniously attached a long ribbon to the box of jewelry, which led right to the crime like Hansel and Gretel's breadcrumbs. The store owner seemed calm and relaxed as he watched the two make fools of themselves. Suddenly, realizing they were caught, Bonnie handed the jewelry box to Clyde and made a run for it when the store owner's dog appeared on the scene. So much for being each other's ride or die. Number 16. Street crime leads to street justice. In an inner alley in Karachi, Pakistan, a pair of boys pulled up on a bike with handpieces, demanding the men give them their phones. The men comply, and the thieves drive off grinning and snickering, proud of their day's catch. But that's not where the story ends. One brave onlooker saw what had happened and pushed the men off their bike as they drove past him before making a swift retreat into his own house. This small action prompted the rest of the men in the street to band together to serve the phone snatchers some well-deserved street-style justice. The thieves made a mistake bringing handpieces to a rock fight. Despite being armed, they were easily overpowered by a mob of people that had soon gathered and got a good taste of street justice. Hopefully, these fledgling thieves are going to think twice before they mess with the wrong neighborhood. Number 17. Fighting back with a machete. Crazy events unfolded in Jalisco, Mexico, when two armed robbers realized they weren't ready for some pushback. Footage from July 8, 2021 shows two men passing by their house as they were traveling for business. The driver pulled up to pick up some money from a woman, and that's when the assailants, each on their own motorcycles, pulled up to try robbing the two men. But they probably weren't expecting the passenger to pull up to a fight with a machete. High on adrenaline, the man immediately began swinging the machete at the driver, who even shot his gun but missed continuously. The second man in the car tried to run over the robber multiple times but was unsuccessful. One robber managed to escape the scene, but his buddy wasn't so lucky. The driver got out of the car, and both men worked together to subdue the assailant, pinning him to the ground as his friend fled to safety. Number 18. Heist gone wrong. Because they all ignored him. We've seen bystanders' quick reactions to crime, but what happens when they don't react at all? This might look like a skit straight out of SNL, but trust me, it really happened. On July 3rd, 2023, a man burst into a nail salon in Atlanta, Georgia, with the intention of robbing the owner and customers. Although he seemed to hide a handpiece in a black bag over his hand, none even turned a hair. The man continued to threaten them to pay up, but to his surprise and dismay, nobody took him seriously. The owner of the store can be seen continuing to talk on his phone as the robber tries desperately to threaten everyone into submission. Probably embarrassed by his humiliating failure, the man snatched a phone out of a woman's hand before walking away defeated. The phone was later recovered, meaning he embarrassed himself for nothing. Isn't it satisfying watching him look around at the expressionless faces, realizing robbing people with sheer bravado doesn't work? Number 19. Victim opens fire. This incident took place in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I just know it's going to warm your heart. A black Range Rover pulled out of a property, and almost immediately 2 men came up to it with the intention of hijacking it or robbing the occupants. The first man came up to the driver's side window, but before he could do anything, he turned on his heel and ran away. When the second man comes up to the passenger side window, we see why. Acting quickly, the driver used his handpiece to shoot right at the assailant, missing him by inches. The glass can be seen shattering outwards as the wannabe hijacker ran for his life. But the driver wasn't satisfied. He was intent on teaching them a lesson. He got out of his car and followed the 2 men, opening fire on them and courageously dodging their shots as they fired back. Towards the end, he returned to his Range Rover, thankfully unhurt. Number 20. Shoplifting Robin Hoods. This footage of a department store caught 2 thieves with a heart of gold. While the hooded man in black distracted the store owner, his accomplice started stuffing a backpack full of snacks. But in an ironic twist, an actual robber showed up with a handpiece aimed at the store owner, shoving him and demanding money from him. The 2 skateboarders hid within the aisles and cooked up a quick plan. One of them pushed his skateboard out, distracting the robber. That's when his buddy came up to the robber from behind, pushing him to the ground. Thinking quickly, the hooded man threw the metal rack down on the robber, trapping him under its weight. Before the 2 skateboarders left, they handed the robber's handpiece to the store owner, so he wasn't left defenseless. There are more plot twists in this story than an M. Night Shyamalan movie. But what do you think of our 2 Robin Hoods? So, which one was your favorite? Comment below and let us know, and tell us what you would do if caught in such a situation. Until next time, remember to stay safe.